I remember when I first walked into the center and into the room, right? It was like dimly lit. They finished praying. They said that they're gonna hook me up into like a machine. I'm 31 years old this year, and when I first came out, I was kind of like got forced out because back when I was probably 16, 17 years old, that's where I really found out like the whole trans-related stuff that, people actually able to transition basically. So when I first bought my binder, I kind of had to hide it because, well, it's not good basically. And then one day, I tried to wear it out in public where my family is around. And then my mom found out like, you seem a lot flatter today. So she kind of start touching like the back, saying like, finding for a bra basically. She got upset like, why are you doing this? So at night, she came to my room knocking, say like, where's the binder? Like, why are you doing this? God is giving you such a healthy body, why are you hurting yourself? So I told her, well, all my life I was like feeling uncomfortable in my own body. Especially when I look myself in the mirror, I don't relate or I feel very distant, basically. Basically, my mom was like, forced me to give up my binders to her, saying that it's not good. So she kept it away. No, my family actually not that religious. Yeah. But we do go to temples like during Chinese New Year but other than that, we don't really like do extra prayers. Not that I know of. Like, I don't think she actually shared with anybody else but probably her friends maybe, like seek of guidance like how my child is like this.
And eventually when you grow up, and afterwards obviously you embrace.
I think it's more like if you don't address it and then they just ignore it kind of thing, they just sweep it under the rug kind of thing. So yeah, if you don't talk about the topic, they are fine. So yeah, but if you do, then they get a bit upset
So you were just able to express yourself and your family basically did.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. How did that make you feel?
I feel like I'm a little bit more fortunate side because like my family doesn't force me to be like typical feminine way. They just let me. So it was pretty okay growing up, but it does give me a bit of anxiety, of course, because like my mom, she's a typical like tiger mom So like she can be quite controlling in a way.
You mentioned that you have experience with aversion therapy. So can you share your experience?
Since my mom found out about the whole binder thing and she tried to like help me saying like, maybe I'm having some mental health issues. So she basically arranged therapy for me to like talk to someone to help like me fix me or be normal. So the first one, it wasn't so bad. It was like a normal therapy session where the therapist just asks how I'm feeling, things like that. So it went by okay, but then my mom found out it wasn't really effective, so she swapped to another one. So the second one was a bit weird So this one, I remember when I first walked into the center and into the room, right, it was like dimly lit. And then there was two persons. One was the person talking to me, the other one was, I guess, monitoring So before we started, right, there was prayers. Yeah. I guess so, but we didn't know about it So before we start, then they started praying. So I'm like, okay Lord. And then after they finished praying, they said that they're gonna hook me up into like a machine. It wasn't like any shock or anything like that It was just, I think it probably like either like a lying machine or like some emotional thing, whether I'm basically like all this polygraph kind of thing. I think that is what it was, because it was like they stick the thing on my hand and then my temples, things like that. And then they asked me, oh, try to relax, be yourself. I'm like, okay. Yeah, and then the therapy went on fine. They asked questions, but end of the session, they have like a report about it. I didn't see the report because, well, I wasn't allowed lah. So my mom had the report, and then I told her about it lah. I said they hooked me up with the machines and things like that. And she also a bit weirded out. So, and then she swapped to another center. So the third one, it was actually not a center anymore. It was a actual hospital. And this hospital probably went few sessions. And then I do give credit to the therapist itself, because he did ask me whether do you want to change. But for me, I think at that time I just want to get it over with. So I just lied. I know you said that you shouldn't lie to therapists, but I just really wanted to get it over with and say, yeah, I just want to change. I don't want to go to any of this therapy anymore. So he was like, okay. So, well, first thing, you gotta cut out all your queer friends. He said like, oh, do you know that you have queer friends, then you're gonna be more queer because that's your influence. Yeah, so that's one of the advice he gave me. So the other advice would be like changing my wardrobe. Oh, do you know that when you button up, certain buttons, men is like on the left side or the right side and the women on the other side kind of thing. So I was like, oh, I didn't know that. So I guess you do learn something new sometimes.
Can I ask for the second one? What kind of questions did they ask you?
They did say like, oh, do you know that you feeling this way is wrong kind of thing. Yeah, but like overall, I mean, there was a lot of crying also lah. So like I also don't remember most of it, but it wasn't so bad, I would say. Yeah, but definitely weird lah. I mean, like normal people don't go through this after all. The third one? Yes.
And so technically they are not like religious, but they still have all these beliefs.
Yeah.
And so like, did they also hook you up in those machines?
Only the second one. Yeah, the third one was normal, I suppose.
Okay. And how many times did you have to attend these sessions?
Probably like bi-weekly. Yeah.
And so after the third one, how did you manage to not go?
No, actually, because it so happened that that time I was during uni. I had opportunity to further my studies overseas. So I took that chance to leave.
Did that make you feel better?
Definitely. Yeah, because we had more freedom, and then my family isn't like breathing down my neck kind of thing. So yeah, because like every time when I'm at home, I get a bit anxious when my parents come home, because like I don't know whether this time am I going to the therapy or not. So yeah, anxiety lah.
Do you feel guilty always like at some point?
I do, because technically my parents wasn't bad parents. They gave me education, they gave me place to stay, eat. But I just so happened to turn out queer lah. So I do feel bad, because like I think they also struggle a bit because I turned out that way. My mom kind of blamed herself also, saying that I turned out this way. So then I told her, I say, it's not your fault, nor it's my fault either. So it's just so happened, it's like that.
So then how did they come to terms with something? It's just the conflict avoidant thing.
Yeah, and then because since I went overseas to study, right, so there was a bit of distance. I think my parents learned that the more they pressure me, the further I will go. So they tend to learn to accept if I wasn't hurting anybody or things like that. So they accepted it in that way.
The hospital one, this doctor, is it like an actual doctor?
Yeah.
And you were sent there for them to give you advice?
Yeah, like a psychologist kind of thing.
Oh, so they diagnose trans as like a mental illness, is it?
Actually, I don't know what term they use lah, but overall they say like there's really nothing wrong with me, but like if you really want to change to like be more feminine, you can just keep coming and like consult to be like more feminine probably.
And during the
Mm, yeah, during that time I do have friends to talk to, so it wasn't so bad. Like I said, I had queer friends too during that time, so I talked to them saying that sometimes you just gotta endure it.
Do you feel like they were your main support system like all these years?
I would say in the beginning, emotionally, yes, they are, definitely. At least you don't feel so alone when you like go through these kind of things.
Sharing that by seeking help, like what means like gender affirming help, like so professional help that is like what you experience?
We have like our own like trans group lah. So I was able to connect with the local support group, and from there they say like where you can access like hormones or like which surgeon does this surgery. So from there, yeah, we do find help.
And you were also able to find funding for your surgery.
As soon as I graduated, the first thing I find a job, save up enough money to start medically transitioning.
Also, the surgery and the surgeons and all that.
Mm.
You say that has been very helpful in helping you transition.
Yes, definitely. For surgery-wise, I went to a private hospital, so the surgeon didn't ask questions. They say like, "Oh, you want to do this? Okay, sure." They just explain the procedure and things like that, and then book the appointment, and that was it. It was really smooth. There wasn't any like discrimination or anything like that.
Your family was there at the surgery, right?
Yeah, eventually my parents did come around because I was pretty persistent on going it. I said like, regardless, I'm still going for this. So they were trying to support me lah. So they fully understand what is like the whole process. They came with me with a consultation lah. So if they had any questions, the surgeon is able to answer them.
And when did this happen?
Surgery, 2019, before MCO.
You've already told us about how you navigate with your family, but how do you navigate around transphobia?
I think I was pretty lucky because I hadn't really had any first-hand experience where people like give me hate speech or try to physically harm me. But I would say online-wise, people tend to be quite rude when it comes to like trans people. I tried not to take it too personally for me lah, because like why do you want to hate somebody? I don't even know you, that kind of thing. So I tend to not take it too personally and just move on. Or maybe if you think like online is too much, just disconnect a little bit.
So do you feel like at your work and every other space, like for example, you can use your chosen name instead of?
Yeah, they use chosen name, but because I just only recently started hormones, so even though I had like fat chest, I still was pretty feminine because I wasn't on T. So people still use female pronouns, things like that. But I try not to let it get to me lah. So I just do my own job. But they do use my chosen name, so I think it's half-half.
What advice or words of affirmation would you give to your younger trans siblings who come from similar backgrounds or families like yours, or in a similar situation?
I would say definitely wait until you're financially stable before coming out, because you really never know who would take it or who would not take it well. For family-wise, I would say they need time to accept who you are. Everybody have their own pace lah when it comes to acceptance. So I say like you gotta be a little bit more patient. I know you've been waiting all your life to start transitioning, but some things you really can't force. They have their own time to accept or understand. So I would say give a little bit time. Maybe eventually they will come around.
You say you're not happy now.
Definitely more comfortable at least. I wasn't as tense.
Do you think acceptance from family is important?
To me, yeah, I would say it's a little bit important because other than the whole being queer thing, I think my family, I think they do love me very much. The acceptance would mean a lot to me. I'm sweating.